My life is in your hands. My life is in your hands. You took control when I was young, when I was not able. My life is in your hands. My life is in your hands. You took control when I was young, when I was not able.
Hi, welcome to Inspired Blessings with Rosemarie Prince. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And today my guest is Rosemarie Kluepfel.
Hi, Rosemarie. How are you?
Good. Long time no see.
Yes, thank you for having me on.
No problem. Well, you're doing a good thing here, so I want people to know about it. Not sure when this show will be airing, but I'm going to try to get as closest to being, I guess, a little bit after Veterans Day and maybe closer to Thanksgiving, which is coming up soon, because what you're doing is a very thankful thing to do, and we'll explain what that is. So if you can kind of, just tell me what your profession is.
I am a residential licensed mortgage originator, so I help people get mortgages so they can purchase a home or refinance, and that's what I do for a living, but I also have other passions. I'm actually a motivational speaker. I do a lot of writing like Rosemarie does.
Oh, yeah.
And I do a lot of volunteer work. And
Gotcha.
I believe in giving back to the community because it teaches us to be more thankful for what we have if we're helping someone else in need.
Right. And it is really, nice when people kind of give from their heart, volunteering their time, because time is very valuable.
Yes.
So that's why when you're choosing something to do in volunteering, you really want to choose something that you are going to be passionate about. So if you can be able to explain what the foundation, the name of the foundation, and a little bit more about what, that you do.
Well, I work for Fairway Independent Mortgage Corp, and they're actually an ESOP. They're an employee-owned company, and they have 7,000 employees. They're in 50 states, and the company has a very philanthropic attitude, and they believe in community service. So they encourage each branch to give back to the community, and my branch is right here on Long Island. So we decided that one of the things we wanted to do is help some veterans, because Long Island, I don't know if you know this, Rosemarie, has one of the highest populations of veterans in the country.
Really?
Only second to San Diego.
Yeah, wow.
Which a lot of people are surprised. So we have like 90,000 veterans walking among us, but people don't know because they're not wearing a uniform, and we have no idea. And sometimes they don't want to tell you because there is sometimes a stigma, especially what happened recently. And people are people regardless of what their profession is. Some have emotional problems, some have mental problems, and some have
I'm proud
other
to
issues.
say that my dad is a veteran.
I see.
Yeah.
That just goes to prove.
I guess he's going to be 90 come February.
Wow.
Right? And he actually fought in the Korean War, and then he adopted me. So what a blessing as well.
Right, so
But
he was there.
it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice being in the armed forces, because you don't know what risk you're taking. I mean, I hate to say, but his two brothers that went into the Korean War didn't make it.
Right. That's the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, it really is. So I guess you see the fact that when they come out of the service, they have what's known as the PT.
Some of them, it depends on what, where they've served, where they've been deployed. Sometimes I just was at an event where two colonels spoke, and they actually didn't really experience a lot of, traumatic experiences. So, so everyone, only less than 1% of our population serve in the military. And so right now we are kind of scattered all over the world. So they're probably taking on maybe a larger burden than maybe in the past. But also, when people think of the sacrifice of veterans, they're not realizing that their families are also sacrificing. Your father lost his two brothers, but so what about his parents and his other siblings and the emotional effects? So we really have to be conscious about the sacrifice of the families too, and do what we can.
Right.
At least make them feel welcome and at home.
What I like is the fact that with our president, President Trump, and how he is so much for the veterans, and he sees how, the need is there and things like that, and how things were getting kind of depleted, with the services and helping them.
Well, whatever your political affiliation, and I know it's just in any politics too, it begins at home. politics is local, and so is community service. I think that it's nice that we want to be able to help people abroad and people in other communities. But like I said, we have so many veterans here, so why not start here?
Right.
And hope that attitude of giving and giving and being thankful and helping spreads to the
Right.
next community.
So now, Fairway Foundation's Purple Heart campaign. When did it actually start?
Well, this is the Purple
foundation?
Heart. We actually, the foundation
It's a
was established.
nonprofit?
It's a nonprofit. It's a 501c3. It was actually established in 2004 by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corp to help its community, local communities, and employees, and kind of grew from there. And in our branch, what we decided, like I said, is to help veterans. And when someone is wounded in battle or in service of our country, they get a Purple Heart. And a lot of people don't realize that what the Purple Heart medal is. So we actually got permission from the Military Order of the Purple Heart to actually use the medal on this. And what we do is we ask people to pledge $1 and post it somewhere. So we launched it a couple of years ago on Valentine's Day, and with the kind of the theme of Our Hearts Belong to
yes.
Veterans. And we ask schools, businesses, organizations like PSCG, our local utility, even participate, and we hope that it continues to participate.
And where would they find out?
They can go on the website, veteranshomegiveaway.org, because right now the money that we've been raising over the last couple of years, we've actually been able to purchase a distressed property right here in Long Island, and it's been...
Now, is this the first one?
In other parts of the country, Fairway has given away quite a few homes, and we wanted to do it here locally. And we raised enough money to actually buy a distressed property out in Brookhaven, and it's currently being renovated by the Interior Design Society and local tradespeople, a lot of them from NARI, the National Association of
So they
Modeling
volunteering
Industry.
their services? And
They're all volunteering their time, donations, Canco's Tile, donated tile, Revco Electrical, donated electrical, Plesser's Appliances, donated the appliances, and so on and so on. And the list is endless, which is actually very encouraging because we started this, our little branch started this idea, and it's grown and grown and grown, and we're so excited to be partnering up with these other people who have spent lots of hours of volunteering their time.
Right.
It takes a lot of work to renovate a house.
It does. Like I said, time is valuable. So now I was reading something where it says like the house is 90% done and then fully furnished. So when you're saying 90% done, what's that extra 10%?
Well, we thought we were almost done, but we just got a landscaper to volunteer their services. We just got an irrigation company to volunteer to put in a sprinkler system. And actually someone is putting in solar panels. So it's it's grown and grown and grown. And of course, there's little details that go into the house as well. So the kitchen is being, the cabinets are in, the appliances are there, so we're just waiting for the countertop. Right. The bathrooms have been redone. We're just waiting for paint and to sand the floors. And so we're almost there. The heavy lifting's been done, I want to say.
You sent me a picture of the house, so I just want to show the viewers the picture.
It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch, 1-car garage, nicely fenced yard, full finished basement. So it's a really nice home.
What area?
It's in Brookhaven. It's on the Mastic-Shirley borderline. It's in Mastic, and it's ready for the veteran.
And so the veteran basically would be handed this beautiful home, fully furnished, and in which you guys are paying the mortgage. Is that how that works?
Well, we bought the mortgage. We bought the house, so there's no mortgage currently, and we're going to give the veteran the deed. There is going to be a deed restriction. We don't want the veteran to go and sell it the next day. So the second thing,
Sure.
and that would be a shame because all the people that volunteered their time and donated all the materials would be very upset. So we wanted to make sure that didn't happen, and of course no one would take advantage of the veteran also. So what we did is we're going to put a deed restriction so that the second they get the keys, they'll have 10% equity, and then an additional 10% up until the last 10th year, they'll have 100% equity. So this way, they're not forced to stay.
Right.
If they say they stay 5 years, they'll have 50% of the equity. They could sell the home, take 50% and maybe buy something else, and the money would go back into the foundation to help other veterans.
Now, I was reading something. Is there something to do with they have to be September 11th, 2001 veteran? What was that?
Well, thank you for your father's service, but I think most Korean War veterans are not looking to get into a new home.
No, I would say you would. I hate to say this, but you would want to get a veteran who's got a longevity.
Right, we're looking for someone that is possibly wants to have a family, or maybe already has a family. Someone who can live in the home for a long, long time.
Okay, so it isn't having to be involved of
no, they just
the September 11th.
served after September 11th, because we had to pick a date. So
Sure.
that was, and to be honest with you, a lot of people did volunteer to join the service after 9/11 in our area because of the proximity of Manhattan. So, I guess that is in some way a date that we especially will not forget, because we were so close in proximity.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to read here is that God had blessed me to write this book, and after September 11th, this was written 2 weeks later, because I saw what the sacrifices that was going to be made for the armed forces. So it's called The Brave Heroes of the Armed Forces. We've seen brave men in uniforms. Some wear green, while others wear navy blue. Yet they all look handsome, even with white on too. And when they are lined up and ready for battle, it is with one purpose in mind: to fight for our freedom no matter who we are. You are the brave heroes of the armed forces because of your courage to stand up for democracy. Without you, we would live in fear. But because of you, we have peace in our land. We cannot thank you enough for the sacrifices you make on our behalf by taking time away from your family and facing the bad things that might come across your path while you are defending our country. May God protect you and keep you in safety when the battle seems too much to bear. May your guardian angels shield you from harm so you can come back home to the land of the free.
That's beautiful, and that's exactly talks about the sacrifice of family and our servicemen and women when they decide to enlist. Remember, it's a volunteer military now. There is no draft, so everyone that's serving right now is volunteering their time. What you said, you can't take it back. It's time you can't take back.
And I guess even you think to yourself as a parent. I mean, my son just moved away to a different state, but at least I know he's home. You know what I mean? Imagine being a parent who's got a child that is going to the line of battle. So that has to be a big sacrifice for a parent to have to deal with.
The military. If you think someone who's has a family member that's in the police department or the fire department or an EMT, every time those people walk out the door, they face risk, so we have some anxiety. Now take that same type of person and put them in a different country, far away from home, so they're not coming home for dinner and not knowing exactly what they're facing, and even wearing the uniform puts them in some harm's way as a target. So yes, we just, I hope that the Purple Heart, it's a way that we raise money to purchase the home, but it's also a way to raise awareness. We're reminding people that veterans and our military are people just like us, and they have the same anxieties, the same fears, the same desires.
I think of, especially, they leave as boys, but they come back as men.
We have more and more women too.
Yeah. Exactly. But like I said, that's definitely a big sacrifice. So now, how would they actually go to apply for the house?
Well, you have to have served post 9/11/01, and you have to be honorably discharged and have a Purple Heart, which means, again, that you somehow were injured in service of your country. It doesn't mean that you lost a limb. It just means that maybe you were shot at or hurt or something.
Okay, so I'm
like
going
that.
to ask you. So the fact that if somebody did lose a limb, is it handicap accessible, or is it too much? It would have been too much to do.
Well, because it was an existing home, we really couldn't do too much to make it handicap accessible. We did buy a ranch, so this way at least most of the home was on ground level. A lot of the times, if there's someone who was wounded and they do need the home to be handicap accessible, the VA does give them a housing voucher. So if it happens to be a veteran that needs that, they usually will have I think it's $75,000, so they can make the home more handicap accessible. But it doesn't mean that the person who's going to get the home necessarily has those needs, because it's not going to the veteran with the greatest injury. It's going to the veteran with the greatest need of a home. So maybe they're homeless. I don't know if or living in a basement apartment, or living with family, or just having a hard time making ends meet, and they're getting ready to leave Long Island. So there's no set criteria.
Well, if you had a single gentleman and another gentleman that's married, would you say that there's going to be a preference that you really would like to provide to a family scenario?
You know, to be honest with you, I am not on the selection panel, and the selection panel is made up of all veterans. So we're going to leave it to the veterans to decide where the greatest need is. And there is another criteria, and what I want to talk about. They have to be able to pay the taxes, the insurance, and the upkeep of the home. So we don't want to give them the keys of the home, him or she, him or her, the keys of the home, and then not be able to maintain it.
Right, that doesn't make sense.
And they will get a discount on their taxes because of being a veteran. So we figured that they only need about $1,200 to $1,500 a month, including utilities, because the house is going to have solar panels. There's brand new appliances that's going to be more energy efficient. So they really should not have large bills at all. We want to make it so they're self-sufficient.
Right.
And so we are looking at someone who has the ability to maintain a home. So we're not going to give to someone that's not capable of really taking on that responsibility.
Right.
And we also don't want to give it to anyone who just doesn't need a home, has the ability to just go out and purchase one.
Right.
So they have to make less than the Long Island median income, which is not that low. It's not cheap to live on Long Island. So the median income is like $85,000, $90,000 for one person. So it would grow if it was more than one, if it was a family.
Right.
So we're trying to, again, choose, I'm so happy that you asked me on the show, Jean-Marie, because we want to make sure the word gets out there that there is this home, that it's 90% complete, it's going to be fully furnished, the veteran literally just has to bring a toothbrush.
What a blessing that's going to be. I mean, that's going to be such a blessing.
Well,
because I
bring some
believe
attention.
in it. Because I believe in it, I'll be posting on my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, LinkedIn, and GooglePlus. So I'll get it out there.
So yeah, if your viewers can spread the word, that would be wonderful. You know, again, we have applications. Obviously, we can just select from what we have. But you know what? There really is a family or a veteran out there that this house is like speaking their name or her name. So, and we will make sure everyone has the opportunity as well. It would be sad that someone didn't know about it and maybe they were the person that was meant for this house.
Right.
So we want to make sure that everyone at least has the opportunity. And it's easy. Write a letter, explain what your particular situation is. Send it. You could email it to the to fairwayfoundationny@gmail.com. The information's on the website, veteranshomegiveaway.org. If you are in one of the top finalists, then you need to just show your financials. And it's the same financials as if you were applying for a VA loan. So we're not asking for their medical history or anything private that they don't want to share. The financials are strictly just to show that they have the financial ability to afford the upkeep, and they don't make more than the average person, where they really don't need to get a free home because it is mortgage free.
When are you actually looking to have this person close on it?
Well, the house is almost done. We keep moving the finish line because we are all volunteers, and so if one person doesn't show up, it's kind of a chain reaction. Just like any renovation project, if you've ever lived through a renovation project, if the electrician doesn't show up, then the sheetrock man
I happen
can't.
to live with my contractor.
So we're almost there, though. We're really, really almost there. But like I said, we just had some more people step up and want to do some more to the outside, which would be nice as well. And it's really going to be a showcase. So I mean, we have a team of designers who have done an amazing job.
And all these people are really just volunteering their talent as well as the supplies. Wow.
Isn't that incredible? And that's really what, that's what it takes. One person tells one person, and one person lifts one, and so on, and all of a sudden you have a crew of people that are turning this distressed property into a home.
I just actually just shared a post that was showing act of kindness, and where they were on let's say on the train, or and actually it was a bus, and so it was young kids, and this lady comes in, older lady, and she's got these bags, and she's now standing there, and the one kid sees her and says, "Here, take my chair." And then you have another one where they're in a parking lot, and the guy's waiting for that spot for that person to pull out. That other person it's a mother, and the kid is acting up, and she kept on turning in the back, and finally he's like, you take it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if we can all do these acts of kindness, then we'd have so much of a better world. It's showing love to one another.
That's why I love this project, because it's not the Fairway project anymore. It's a community project. And if the Long Island community is such a generous, loving community, and this is really an example of what we all can do if we just do a little at a time.
How long did it take to save up this much money to do this project?
Oh, the Purple Heart, we asked people to pledge $1 at a time, so you can imagine it took a lot of Purple Hearts. I remember walking into the Melville location of PSCG's, one of their satellite offices, and there were like 1,000 Purple Hearts on their wall, and it was astounding. And I'm not a veteran, so I can imagine a veteran walking in and seeing how all those people decided to donate and contribute to this project. That's why I'm so proud of it. You know, we had one 7-Eleven where they had 700 hearts in 3 weeks. And you know, we've had school children. The Cherry Hill Avenue Elementary School had little school children coming in and bringing their spare change to be able to put a heart on the wall. And if you go on the Facebook page, the Fairway Foundation Facebook page, you'll see video and pictures of all different organizations contributing. So we started the project 4 years ago. So it was an idea 4 years ago. We launched it right after Memorial Day in 2014.
Well, actually, when I was involved in the networking, I think you had maybe mentioned at that time, is this the first house? Or
this is the first house.
Because I remember hearing about something like that previously. Okay, so that was a while ago.
It took us a while to, and actually I've been in a lot of distressed properties looking for a home that
Now when you're saying distress, is it foreclosure?
This one happened to be a foreclosure, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I tell you, foreclosures are a lot of work. Sometimes it's going to cost you way more than if you just actually bought a house that was in decent shape. I mean, because I was actually going to buy actually we did. My first house was a foreclosure. What a mess. You basically had to gut it.
Right.
You know?
We were surprised, actually. This house, you know, it needed a lot of updates, but really the condition was actually quite good. And we have to thank to the real estate community for that. You know, one of our sponsors is the Long Island Board of Realtors, and we got the word out and we told all the realtors, please help us find a house that is in our price point, obviously, and that is in decent condition so that we can renovate it quickly. And one of the realtors called us up and said, I have a house for you, and it was perfect.
Wow.
It was perfect. Yeah, some of the foreclosures are in, you know, they're damaged from Sandy. Some of them have been neglected for years, so you have mold and issues. So yes, it wasn't easy. I've been on a lot of distressed properties, Jean Marie. I wasn't wearing this, so it's fine.
Now, when you actually do find that applicant and you actually then do close, do you make a big event of it?
Yes, we're going to have an event and invite everyone that participated to come down and be part of it. Absolutely. And Jean Marie, I hope that you're there.
Yeah, you know, let me know. Maybe I'll work it out and maybe find out the story of the gentleman and do like a story about it.
Sure. You know, well, we want to see, you know, we'll ask them
I know,
because
of course.
we'll ask them if they want to
sign.
share. Absolutely. We'll ask them if they want to share. Hopefully they will, because I think this is such a good feel-good story, and it should be shared because maybe somewhere in your audience out there, someone will want to do the same thing.
You know, we are spoiled. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't see what they actually go through. Maybe we may go to a movie theater, and that's the closest that we can actually, you know, maybe feel what they're going through. But in reality, after the hour and a half, 2 hours is over, our mind is back to being selfish again in our lives. You know, so and I hate to say, but you know, their nightmares continue thereafter.
Well, you know, we have the 5th largest amount of homeless veterans in the country, Long Island. We have such a wealth of resources here, and yet our homeless population, it's the 5th largest homeless in the country, which is sad. And you know what, I think we have blinders on when we're going out there and into the world, and we're just rushing from work or for wherever we're going, school. And then what we don't realize is that there's a lot of people that need help, and some of the issues that they have do stem from trauma, from not being able to get past it, and they need help. And post-traumatic stress is definitely one of those issues that has brought attention, but you know, we need as a community to be aware of it and look for signs and encourage them to get help. And I tell people, imagine being in a really bad car accident. You're not
Yeah,
gonna
right,
you're not gonna
right.
drive the same. You're gonna
Right.
always
You'll
be
have
looking.
that fear.
You'll always be looking over your shoulder, and I think that as someone who has served in an area that's dangerous is always looking over their shoulder, and it's hard to shut your brain down and kind of relax, I think. And
I just
it's a
watched,
shame.
actually went to the movies and saw, it was a movie and where actually he literally wasn't so much in the combat, but he was actually became a pastor, we'll just say, you know, but the fact that he experienced and at times maybe wasn't actually battling, but yet he was in the presence of seeing, you know, his comrades die and things like that. And so, you know, he came back and almost destroyed his marriage because he had to get past that, you know, the guilt that he was also having.
Yeah, you have survivor's guilt. You know, we also have, unfortunately, a high rate of suicide amongst our veterans. It's like 22 a day.
Wow.
So they're surviving, you know, serving, and yet, you know, they come back and they're just tormented.
Right.
And I think it's moral injury that they're tormented, you know, that they have survivor's guilt. They've seen things that, you know, that no one should see.
Right. Well, thank you for what you're doing, and the fact that I hope people will, you know, apply for this home, and hopefully the fact that they will be blessed. But thank you for your volunteering, your time that you're giving for this family.
Thank you. It's
It's
the least
really-
I could do.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And again, say the website that they would go to.
VeteransHomeGiveaway.org.
I appreciate it. And I'll begin one of that as well.
Sure. If anybody is interested in doing the Purple Heart campaign in their school,
Yeah.
their organization, their business, again, go on VeteransHomeGiveaway.org.
Right, right.
And
Camera 3, right.
thank you.
That way. Yep. All right, so thank you so much. And I hope that you share this with people that you may know that might be able to qualify for it and that they could be really blessed with this home. So thank you so much for joining us. And again, if anybody's interested in a speaker, God's blessed me with an amazing testimony to share, as well as if you want more information about my books and CDs and greeting cards, you can go onto my website at jeanmarieprince.com. And if you could like my Inspired Blessings Facebook page, you learn more about the different guests and things like that, as well as if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Jean Marie Prince so you can catch any shows that you might have missed. So thank you so much for joining us today, and keep Inspired Blessings within arm's reach to help give you comfort when others are at a loss for words. Thank you, and God bless. For more information on Inspired Blessings book, CD albums, photograph prints, Jean Marie Prince greeting cards, and speaking engagements, jeanmarieprince.com, as well as Facebook page, Inspired Blessings for updates, and CD Baby to listen to the songs. Thank you, and God bless.
My life is in your hands. My life is in your hands. You took control when I was young, when I was not able. I had no mother to love me or a father to give me a hug. I was left all alone in this strange darkness. Nobody tried to claim me or said that they knew me. But Lord, you were always there, watching over me, making sure that I was fed. You kept me from the cold. Your hands picked me up and brought me to a loving home. Your grace was poured on me, and I was chosen to be saved. My life is in your hands. My life is in your hands. You took control when I was young, when I was not able. Lord, you bless me